It's actually going to be built at Lower Stony Hill. They said they're going to build it there. There's no actual plans or designs for it, but if we do know, hopefully it will be built by 2017, but there's no plans, so I believe that should indicate a new undersized school building, but it should be built at the Lower Stony Hill.
Cool.
I think it's always quite a controversial issue. With the school closure, I think that it's 120 pupils, it's not 300, so it's not as bad as it seems, but it's just there's such congestion in the school currently, in Stevenson High School. And for there to be no plans for the new high school, I think that it should be made that the council only starts for school closures when there is the new high school, so there is that new school, that new, I can't remember the word, building for the for all the young people to go into, so that they're not being crammed into a building that's being called inadequate for the pupils that's in it currently.
I think that you shouldn't go around closing schools unless they can, and that's like as Nicole said, it's not enough spending to accommodate the incoming pupils. So, and plus, imagine being a first year and buying the bar and then going to Scal, going to Anderson every morning. It's a bit much asking that for what, 13, 12 year old bar. I think so. I think Scal High School is kind of needed for the fact that the catchment area is kind of, it's a bit too far away from the Anderson to have the pupils commuting that far every day. Also, as I said, I'm just going to accommodate that much for
Emily.
Firstly, the efforts of all the pupils within Scala School was, I thought, really amazing. I thought that all the people in Scala School really, stood up for their school, and it was kind of inspiring when we went there and spoke to them, because it's something that they feel very, very strongly about. Just to pick on a couple of the points, I totally agree. I don't think that the Anderson we'd squeeze them in, but it wouldn't be comfortable. I think to plan for school closures when there is no plans, as in physical plans, for a new school, it doesn't really make much sense. It's kind of in the wrong order. I do think that this isn't just limited to Scala School, this is school closures across Shetland. I do think that it's also an important part of preserving communities and things. It's not just about let's build a new Anderson High School. It's obviously an issue that is very sensitive to a lot of people, and something that whoever gets elected will have to work on.
Okay, thank you. Members, before we go on to the concluding statements from each of the candidates for this evening. Oh, a question there.
How do you feel about the council spending money on keeping the schools there?
Okay, so this relates to the school, community and environment. So funds for community safety, how important a priority do you think that is in terms of the cuts, is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay, Emily.
I didn't get the question.
I think...
What was... No, I didn't, I just didn't hear it. It's not...
So we did it.
Yeah.
Right. What is it? How do you feel about the council spending money on helping the school safe? That's what it says.
Helping the schools be safe.
Helping the schools be safe.
Like preserving community schools.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We'll go.
We should change the tape.
As I was saying before, I think that rural schools are important to communities. For a lot of communities, they're kind of like the heart of it. I lived in Wolf, and I know that Had Council School was really, really important to that community. And obviously, they're under threat at the moment, a lot of the smaller schools. And it kind of just ties in with my response, because I kind of generalised mine not just to Scala, so it kind of ties into my response to that.
Cameron.
I agree with Emily. I think that it's a very important matter, and that keeping the schools safe and that should be Council's priority. That's just what Emily said as well, to be honest.
Okay, Nicole.
Yeah, I think with the community schools, and there's not really anything to bring young families into the more rural areas. And yeah, so it's just more about the community aspect and making sure that communities in Shetland are safe, because it's sort of what we are, it's an island of small communities.
I agree with Robin. I think generally keeping schools safe should be I think the council always, it shouldn't just be a thing that it should be. Schools should always be safe for young people, so they can go to school, feel safe, and then go home, feel safe. Also bringing community schools like in that area is a good thing, so then it can bring more people to that area so they can live, so they can bring to wherever it is, basically.
Okay, well, thank you very much to all the candidates, Cameron Stevenson, Emily Shaw, Nicole Mouat and Barry Meheut tonight for coming along to discuss all of these issues with everyone who came along tonight, and hopefully all the young people who will be able to see this from the video as well. Before we just finish off and go through again the voting details and your final campaign bids for the elections, just a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds even of your concluding statement. What do you think were the main issues from the debate, and why ultimately do you think that you deserve the vote of the young people of Shetland? Can somebody remind me which order we went in for the very first introduction? I'll go the opposite way. Was it from you to you?
It was that way to that.
So we start with Barry this time.
I think you should vote for me because I can make a change, and I want to make a change, and I want to voice the opinions, issues and topics of young people more, and I want to make sure they're heard by everyone, and make sure that we can get something done, because I want to see something being done, like issues with music and tuition fees and school closures in Shetland. School closures is a bad thing, everyone knows that, and it shouldn't happen in the first place. Same with tuition fees, so I think you should vote for me because I can make that difference, and I will make that difference.
Nicole?
I think that all the issues that's been brought up tonight are so important, and just the fact they're coming from young people, it just highlights how passionate they can be about wanting different things for their islands. I mean, it's what islands, it's not just Builder Fox, so we have to have a way of being able to say this is what we want, and we think we can do it this way, and I want to be that voice to help young people be able to make that difference.
Emily?
I've actually really enjoyed the debate. I think that each of us would actually be really, really worthy candidates. I know that's not very competitive and probably not what I'm meant to say to my corner, but I think it's important to, it's a democracy, people can vote who they want, and I've kind of highlighted my key issues tonight as local, as being the Coast Guard station, school closures, improved sexual health for young people, and my national issues, one that wasn't mentioned, was the problem of discarded fish in the fishing industry, and also lowering the voting age. So I think you've kind of got to vote on the person who represents the issues that you feel strongly about. So,
Cameron?
I'd like to say that I think our body's really good, and I hope we all win now. I think you should vote for me because I have a good attitude, a positive attitude, and I'll represent. I'll listen to you. I'll try my hardest. I'll do my diligent enthusiasm. I'll try everything to represent you to the best of my ability. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Just a reminder then that only 2 of these 4 candidates can be elected as the members of the Scottish Youth Parliament for Shetland for the next 2 years to represent Shetland on national level. 4 candidates, Cameron Stevenson, Emily Shaw, Nicole Mouat and Barry Meheut. Voting takes place on Thursday the 24th of March, opens at 8 AM and closes at 10 PM, and I would imagine the result will be the day after or a few days after the voting closes. You're eligible to vote if you're aged between 12 and 26, and after that performance, the very best of luck in choosing which candidates you'd like to represent you. So thank you very much.